Probably 3, 2. All right. Now I'm very excited to welcome a wonderful handicapper in Sean Higgs from winningfreepicks.com and Midday Money. You can follow Sean on Twitter at Mr. Sean Higgs. Sean, we have 2 weeks behind us in the NFL. Couple data points. How the heck are you doing these days? How's the season going for you?
Pretty good. Good to see you again. Usually I see you sometimes during the college hoop season with Kyle and stuff. So it's good to talk a little NFL, which of course I thoroughly enjoy. Yeah, it's funny. It's like it's the end of basically September already, and we're gonna wake up. It's Christmas. It's bowl games, and then you're gonna be like, "Wow, I can't believe it's March Madness." Where's football? It goes so fast, Gav. It's like when you have like kids. They're like, "Oh, it goes fast." Next thing you know, your kid's driving. You're like, "What? I remember changing your diaper." It's like it's just like we're out of really. This is it. We got a week left in September. It's goes so fast. Go so fast.
It's weird. Teams like Notre Dame are a quarter through their schedule, man. And so I think that's absolutely insane right now. Thanks, Jesse, smashing the like button. Always a good guy, Jesse. Love following his stuff. So, yeah, man, we got a massive slate coming up here in NFL because there's no bye weeks yet. We have every game. Every single team is playing. So we have a lot to talk about here. But like I always say, if we don't have much to say on it, we'll say our piece and pass. And but before we get into the slate of games, want to ask you which NFL team is a bit underrated right now? Maybe a buy low type situation and might have some value. Kind of not necessarily in like now, but like the next week or two.
For me, there's one team that I really liked coming in as like a team that nobody's gonna look at, and that was the Packers. And I've had them the last 2 weeks. I got them again this week. It's just the team. And I'm not afraid to say crazy stuff. This is a team that Rodgers goes. I think it's just a giant weight off their back. Everybody has like a chip on their own shoulders to be like, we weren't like the Rodgerettes. Like no one's giving us a shot. Okay, Love's basically a rookie, right? He didn't really have much action, but he was in the system. He's practiced it for years. I don't think, bad ending to the game. They could be 2-0, but I don't know. I got this team to win at North. I think they're a good team. Decent coach, solid defense, the offense there. Again, a couple injuries out of the gate, but that is all teams, let's be honest. But my favorite underrated kind of under the radar team is Green Bay by far. That was my team coming in. And I'm with them again. I can throw Tampa Bay in that as well, but for all intents and purposes, Green Bay. I got a 10-1 South ticket on Tampa as well, but underrated kind of stuff. These are my two. Green Bay, obviously my number one.
Green Bay only a 1-point favorite here, and we'll get into that game against the Saints. No disagreement there. I think Aaron Rodgers was a distraction. As a Bear fan, I always used to give that crap to my Packer friends, but to be honest with you, I always kind of thought, the dude, the locker room, the players always get blamed. It was never Aaron Rodgers, and that had to just wear on people. People just like seriously here, and now it's a fresh situation where they kind of past all that drama. It's almost like a big weight off their shoulders,
exactly.
And that's just a great way to look at it. So yeah, I'm
like you drop a pass, you're never gonna get the ball again that game. Like you mess up, the field's slippery, you slide, and then that's it. Oh, you're not where you're supposed to be, and I look bad. Forget, I'm not throwing to you anymore. Like that's the way that guy was.
And that's exactly it right there. It's a completely different team, and they got to fly under the radar for once and not have all the hype and the huge expectations showing up. It's almost like refreshing for them. I might have a little something for you on that game, or for the listeners out there as soon as we get to that one. But I have no disagreement on that one, and I'll stick with one that well, actually, one of mine was the Washington Commanders, but they already did me well the last 2 weeks, so I'm wondering if that line's still a little bit small. So they were definitely one for me. Everyone seems to be on Detroit this year, so I wasn't really that person. I think they're a good team, but they certainly had some issues that they showed on last year. I'm going to go with the Steelers a little bit. Now, they looked awful the last 2 games, but you got to understand they played the 2 monster defenses. Cleveland's defense is fantastic. They still found a way to win, but the Steelers always start slow, and then they kind of move up and up as the year goes. I don't know why that is. It's just a Mike Tomlin thing, I think. But I think the Steelers pretty soon might have some value this week. And I find it a little strange that they're 2.5-point dogs against the Raiders, but we'll get into that game as well. But what about an overrated team, Sean, that we might find some value fading them over the next 2 weeks?
I got a couple here for this. Like, let's start off with like Jacksonville and the Lions. You mentioned the Lions, a lot of the preseason hype on the Lions and like the Jaguars. Like, these guys are going to be really good, right? That's the kind of hype on these two kind of squads. So those, I kind of lump those in over hyped because of the perception that they are. And that's just for what they are. It doesn't mean I'm going against them every week or taking them or not. But those are kind of two teams I think they generally got overhyped coming into the season. You mentioned Washington. And I want to throw kind of like a Atlanta and Tampa Bay as teams of kind of overhyped, kind of underrated. Like, are they for real? We talked about like the Washington. It's a 6.5. And Kev, I'm a guy when I see 6.5 with a team like Buffalo or the Cowboys or Niners, like I'm automatically like I'm going on the dog no matter what. That's like an auto kind of play for me. Where the average person nowadays, like the folks, there are a lot of fantasy players into betting, just think, oh, Josh Allen. Oh, it's Josh Allen. He's going to throw 5 touchdowns. Like, I think it's a good number, 6.5 there for Washington. I mean, they looked bad in week 1. And I got to tell you, I had Denver week 2. I thought Denver, they kind of blew that game against the Raiders. Onside kick to start the game. They're up 16-10. They can't do anything. And Washington comes on strong. Maybe they're a real team. And I thought Ron Rivera would be like going out the door. But, nice little run for it. I mean, that's a team, again, it could be overrated, like not for the fact that they're getting 6.5, but that number says that they got a little bit of respect there. Like, no, why isn't that a 7.5 with Buffalo? You saw Buffalo roar like they were supposed to. Right. Big win. What were we expecting on Washington with Sam Howell and basically a lame duck coach with the team being sold and this guy, right? I mean, and you got a big 21-3. They could start mailing in a season in week 2 when they're down 21-3 on the road.
No doubt.
Like, so that's an interesting one there for me.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm over their win total at 6.5, and I heard everybody against it hated Bieniemy and Rivera's on his way out and blah blah blah, and their quarterback's not proven. I was on the opposite. I took the win total over, but I had to hear about it all summer. Now I'm starting to feel a little bit better about that. So I think that
you got 2 in your pocket in September. You're looking good.
Got 2 in my pocket right now. And obviously, this one would. I almost don't even need to play this one because obviously this would really help my season win total getting by that Buffalo. But there's still a lot of football left, and I just thought that Rivera is the kind of coach that when he does good, when he's overlooked. So that is a very interesting team.
And even Denver, Howell, you mentioned Sam Howell. This guy, before he was drafted, he was like the top dog coming in. He was supposed to be like the number 1 pick, and he had a bad year, and then he slips, and then. But where was he last year? Why didn't they play him all last year? Like, now you play him because, again, he's on his way out. Let's be honest. He's on his way out. He's not going to be there with the new owners coming in.
Stuck with Wentz too long last year. It's like, how do you not see it? Because when Sam Howell was great, he had good receivers, and he lost everybody in North Carolina. They all left to the NFL. Yep. Every receiver, every running back, offensive line. Yep. And then he was stuck with nothing, and he wasn't terrible. It's like you have to understand what this man lost. And the guy that was going to be the first or second pick in the draft from when he was a freshman all of a sudden dropped this much. So, no, I love that comeback he made against Denver. I watched that game.
Really?
He was fantastic. I could not believe the passes he was throwing in, get by. And he does have some receivers there as well. So, a few little injuries there. I think their tight ends banged up, but this is one I'm definitely going to consider with that one. I'm going to go with an overrated team here. And, there's like you said, there's a few of them out there, man. And I think even though they're laying a ton against the Bears, the Chiefs are a little overrated this year, man. Jacksonville just completely screwed up twice in the red zone. That should have been a cover last week, and I'm disappointed about it, man. It's like it was a play for me in the circuit and everything, and I thought to myself, God, if they can just punch one of those in, you get a push at least. Yep. It's one of those situations, and they also made some really weird mistakes when I believe they're up 3-0, and they went for it in the 50 on 4th and long. I was like, wait a minute, it's like when you're winning, you're going to do it that early. I think later in the game, analytically, you do it, but not in that point.
You make the other guy make a play. You never know.
Yeah,
he makes it, and then all of a sudden it's a pass interference penalty and you're on the 35 and you get now you're up 10-0 or something. So you never know.
Yeah, 10-0 against the Chiefs ain't nothing in the first quarter. I'll be 10-0, 10-0 later is, and so it's almost like daring Mahomes to be great. That one can be debated, but yeah, I think the Chiefs are slightly overrated. I also think that the Saints are a little bit overrated, and I hate to say it, I'm on the Falcons for they're making the playoffs plus 180, and maybe they still do. They have an easy schedule, but I think they're a little bit overrated too. So I really like your play on Tampa right now at plus 10-1. I think that's a really good play.
Someone in the midday money, someone brought up like the Saints schedule, and I dug into it. I'm like, wow, it's because you're facing a Carolina rookie quarterback. Atlanta's basically a rookie quarterback, and nobody likes Baker Mayfield. You think you have the best quarterback and probably the best defense. I mean, Allen's a defensive coach, and I get the Saints, and even Atlanta. You look at the Atlanta schedule, like, wow, these guys could win some games. But you dive into that, like 15 of their 17 or 18 games, they're all like 1 or 2 either way. They're a 1-point dog. They're a 1-point favorite. They're 2. Every game is a coin flip for them. For Atlanta,
absolutely.
Like
I agree.
And I like the Bijan. Excellent. People are like, oh, you don't need a running back. No, you need a running back when you got a second-year quarterback and a young wide receiver. That's good. Go with a bunch. Take a playmaker. That's what you need to take the pressure off a young guy, so he's not getting assaulted behind the line of scrimmage every play.
Yeah,
I like it, but let's see how it plays out. Although I think the coach is definitely on the hot seat, though. Like he's got to. I think he needs 7 or 8 wins this year, personally. He's got to show you got Pitt, you got London, Pitt's London, Bijan. You got some playmakers there. You should be able to put the points on the board.
Exactly, 100%. Well, let's move on to the games then, and we can touch on tonight's game. The New York Giants against the San Francisco 49ers. 49ers are minus 10.5. The total on this baby is 43.5, my man. Why don't you start off and tell us if you have a play on this one?
Yeah, I got the over in this one. And I thought I was looking good early because it was at 43. Then I saw it like tick up a little bit to like the 44, 45 range. And I still like it. It's a short week. San Fran kind of played a whole home game last week, gave up some points. Although maybe the Rams are for real with that offense. Maybe that's a real offense. I didn't think it was going to be. I thought it'd be like a 40 to like 20 kind of game. Maybe they're. Well, we'll talk about them in them. They'll be at the end of the show. It's our Monday night game. But again, short week. We saw the Giants put up some offense, have no defense. I mean, if you and I had the Giants. Giants were my favorite play last week, and that's coming from a guy who's a Cowboy fan and just absolutely hates the Giants with a passion. But you get embarrassed on TV. Everything went wrong, could go wrong. I thought you had a better coach, and you come out and play like that out of the gate. Oh my goodness! But here. Just give me the over. I think San Fran's going to score 37. I think their team total is 27.5, 28 points. I'd go over that. I think even on a short week, I think Ayuk might be hurt. I do not care. I think there's going to be like 37-16, something along those lines. I think Niners put up a bunch of points.
No disagreement there. Niners should be able to put up some points. I think the weather's looking okay too. I got a prop play on this. I'm going to be releasing it on TikTok. But now that you're here, Sean, I might as well talk about it. Elijah Mitchell to go over 29.5 rushing yards. I love that play. I think they're going to be leading, like you said, in the fourth quarter. And Christian McCaffrey had a massive workload last week. They're going to have to start pounding some other people. Elijah Mitchell, 27. When the Giants looked so bad against the run against Connor last week, when the Giants are 27th in rush EPA on defense, hell yeah, man. This is a nice play. I think 29.5. You can get that in many books right now. It's still there. So I like that.
I think McCaffrey to go over 100 yards, I think was plus money too as well.
Yeah, I think it's his number for rushing is in the 70s. That's juiced to the over, so it'd probably be even a little bit. If you're talking about passes and receptions and receiving yards,
it was someone posted it was like 100 plus rushing yards for like plus 180 or something. But I could see him just busting one for like 65, and how is he not going to go over 100 yards rushing? He could have 2 runs for 120 yards against this team.
Oh, for sure. For sure. He's just rushing yards, 77.5 minus 135 to the over. So you can possibly get an alt line. There's places where you can buy player props and move the line. Yeah, if you think that 80 would be more like, the minus 105 type situation.
I hate saying things are easy, Kia, but that one, I mean, McCaffrey to have a big game, rushing, I'd go over.
And you see Elijah Mitchell right here at
Yeah,
29.5. So we
that's a
both
good
like
one.
the rushing here. So that's
Yes.
interesting. All right, good stuff. Let's move on to the next game then. We have the Atlanta Falcons versus the Detroit Lions. Detroit now is -3, and the total is 46, minus 120 to Detroit's -3. So you have about 10 cents of juice on that. I'm going to start here. I didn't make a play on Detroit right now. I think Detroit's a team where you can never lay 3.5, and I paid for it myself last week. I just thought that I was a sucker, and I took Seattle, and I made a sucker bet on it, and I admit it. I'm not perfect. I do make those mistakes from time to time, but we are doing great in the NFL so far, and I'm happy that I realized it because that defense is still not good for Detroit, and they get prone when they get a little nervous and when the game's like shootout. You see Jared Goff throwing that pick six, and that ruined it for him. But at the same time, at 3, I think this is probably lined pretty close to where it should be. I think I have it at 3.5 myself. That's why I'm so close, but I'm not there. Atlanta's problem is this, and this is why it might be a good live betting situation. I don't think they can catch up with Desmond Ridder. If something happens and they throw a pick six or fumble it and Detroit's up 14-zip, 10-zip, I don't see how Atlanta's going to throw their way into it. Now, maybe if it's early enough, they can still run the ball and still get that down get that score down a little bit. But especially if you're like sitting in the second half here and it's, Detroit with a lead here, I just don't see Atlanta coming back. And I think they're a play from ahead type team. Yeah. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, well, one, I was with you on the Detroit last week in Seattle, and that was more like I thought the line would go up based on people thinking, wow, Detroit lost to KC or BKC, and they didn't even play their best game, so it could be imagine if we play a good game. Seattle lost a couple. They were banged up on the line. I figured, all right, Detroit should come out and win this game. And even this week, I got to tell you, I got Detroit at a 4.5 early, so I'm an early kind of better. Totally bad number. And obviously, we got some injuries piling up here. But I don't. To me, if I'm going to win this, I don't think I'm going to win the game by 4 if it goes 3.5. I think it's a 10-point game. It's not like anything. The point spread doesn't come into play. It shouldn't come down to a half point, 1 point. I got a favorite. It's got to win by 2 touchdowns. The dog's going to win outright. I agree. You have basically a rookie on the road. I'm not. And it's a pick 'em. Let's be honest. A 3, that's a field goal. That's a home field. That's a pick 'em kind of play. I'm going to go with Detroit. Get it done. Okay. They've been sloppy their last 2 weeks. Beat a young team. If you're supposed to be this good, Detroit, and it's right there. Oh, Detroit's going to the playoffs. They're really good. Beat a young team who hasn't done anything in years. Take care of business here at home.
If you want a little extra juice on that, Carl Sheffers is the official who is a big home field official here for this game. So that certainly helped Detroit. Let's move on to the next one then. And I'm with you. I might get there. I'm going to wait to see if I can get a better 3. But hey, I'll probably be with you as well and not worry as much about the spread in a game like this. Let's move on to the next one. We have the Buffalo Bills versus the Washington Commanders. And we kind of alluded to this, and I think you already showed us your hand, my friend. You're taking the commies?
Yeah, I'll take again, I'm not. For a game like this, I see a 6.5, and all I hear and in my head, although it's a giant head with a pea-sized brain rolling down a 12-lane highway, it's they just have to win by touchdown. That's all I hear. Things. Oh man, I could just hear people on their little Discord just say, "Oh, they just got to win by a touchdown." Are you kidding me? It's Josh Allen. What are you talking? Look at this team. Look at this offense. You see them last week? They put up a third. I can't do that. I'll go ugly. I'll hold my nose and take Washington here at 6.5.
A little early for stats, but Washington against the run is looking a little bit better than Buffalo right now in rush EPA. Drop back is probably more favoring to Buffalo, I would assume, even after that first awful game that Buffalo did play. Yeah, Buffalo's number 7th and against the pass and drop back and Washington.
That stuff. Josh Allen has taken a step back the last year and a half without his, coach left. He went to the Giants. You saw Daniel Jones kind of like take huge leaps and bounds last year. Josh Allen's still running like it's like a 5-on-1. It's a 1-on-5 fast break. He's trying to do everything. I can't trust him laying this number.
Yeah, I can't either. There's no way I'm betting Buffalo again. Buffalo also has been in choke mode, starting their prevent a little too early in games and letting teams back in the game. I think you shouldn't be doing prevent until there's 4 to 6 minutes left, and they're doing this stuff in the third
You
quarter.
might have some weather in this game too. I hear might be a little storm rolling in.
I would have bet the over, and I looked at the weather, so I decided to stay off it. But I was looking towards the over in this game until the weather kind of stopped me here, and I can pull up a little bit of the weather here to kind of show everybody. I think this is just one site. I look at weather at multiple sites here, but Washington, it says chance of rain showers 67, 13-mile-per-hour winds, so that hurts. That's the big thing. It's an outdoor stadium. Don't even worry about the stuff that shows indoor here. But 13-mile-per-hour winds worries me just as much as the rain right here. So this would make the ground game that much more important. And you know what Buffalo does not have? A ground game, my friend. And it's just Josh Allen. That's the way they rack up yards. So Washington just can spy him and not let Josh Allen kill him and not be afraid of the pass. And that wind is hauling. Washington would be a wonderful side to have coming to kickoff. Let's move on to the next game. And we have the Denver Broncos at the Miami Dolphins. Miami's -6.5. The total is 48. So this is a team I was almost going to mention that might be a little underrated right now. Now, let's face it. Denver, look, it was a massive choke, but they still got up by 3 touchdowns to Washington. Yes. They still got up and they still were beating the Raiders for a while and just choked it away. It's like the tale of two halves. It was a bad second half the first week and a bad first half. They got to pull it together. But you still have big names on this defense. You still have a big name coach in Peyton. And this is just a terrible spot for Miami, coming in, beating their division rival. And guess who they have on deck there, Sean? The Buffalo Bills after this. So they go ahead, they beat their rival and the Patriots. Now they come on home. And they have to play the Denver Broncos here after a road trip. Denver would be the only side I look at in this game, and Miami's rush defense is absolute hot garbage right now. I've been watching Eckler run all over them. That wasn't the problem. It was that fact that they stayed ahead. All it takes is a few mistakes here, and Denver's in this game, possibly even a money line sprinkle on this situation. So I didn't bet it yet because I'm just thinking I might get a 7. I like Denver, and I'll probably be on Denver this game.
I'm actually on Miami this game. And I know it's like you're coming off Sunday night, and everybody sees you play Sunday night, and you alluded to the Denver thing. I don't know if first. I mean, it's not like they've never played on the road before, but here they are, road game, Miami, sticky, humid, rain. I know, like Waddle's will bang. It's just going to be what Denver to me. Like they're turning into the Chargers of a team that just makes. Well, they haven't made the play. They're just not making plays. They're just making ridiculous blowing leads kind of stuff. But has Sean Payton turned into a guy who's just going to like make every bad call in the game? Like, hey, let's try an onside kick. Is that what he is now? Like,
yeah.
And I said to take Denver, and let me tell you, Kev, I said, and I got him. I got one around here somewhere. Denver to win the West ticket. Like I thought Kansas City would kind of take a step back, forget receivers, new coordinators. They've just been really good, and they kind of play bend don't break all the time. They just get the playoffs. I was high on Denver this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they could easily be 2-0, but no, they aren't 2. I just I'd rather take Miami here, and I did take Miami. I got Miami at a 6, so and again the 6.5s. If it was open at a 6.5, I probably would have avoided it. All told, I wouldn't have taken Denver because of the old Miami by a touchdown, but I couldn't take Denver. It's Miami enough for me. Denver just seems like it's a team that's just finding bonehead nonsense. Like you start at 0-2, there's so much hype on you. I bought into it. I got a new head coach. The defense is still solid. What could possibly go wrong? I mean, well, here you are, guys. 0-2. 0-2 at home, beating the Raiders. I thought the Raiders would win 4 games this year. And then you let Sam Howell come back on you, a lame duck coach. I mean, talk about a must-win game for Denver. This is a huge game for Denver and for Sean Payton. I mean, they're 0-3. They're going to be like up in arms up there. They're
Right.
just. I mean, thank God they got Colorado football up there because this Denver football is terrible.
Yeah, I'm still on Denver for the reasons. Peyton could screw this up. They have to establish the run. They have to run it with Williams and Ryan, and they have to get those yards. And Russell Wilson needs to run the ball a little bit too. He can't be making stupid decisions. The problem is that Miami plays such a fast offense, and Tua's getting rid of the ball in like a second or two. It's like the speed of just getting rid of the ball has been fantastic. But that'd be my worry because Miami goes up. When do they take off the gas? And I guess kind of going to the whole thing you said, they do have Buffalo on deck, and I used that for the UConn game you talked about before we got on the show here. I'm wondering if they could be looking ahead a little bit and just in the fourth quarter, and maybe that backdoor happens. That's always a possibility. I will say though, Sean, my power ratings is not 6.5. My power ratings has Miami favored by 7.5. So I would have to go against my power ratings if I made this play, and it's never comfortable for me to do that. That's another reason why I didn't make it yet.
I got to say, I swore at the beginning of the year, I said, there's no way I'm taking Miami in any game this year because I got a quarterback who's a hit away from being out for 6 weeks with a concussion. Like that is my. If something happens to this guy today, I feel I'm personally responsible for it. Really, because I thought he should have not even playing football after last year where he got crushed like that. So I'm like,
shocked. I'm shocked, and that's why I took Miami season win total older. But unless he gets rocked, I'm probably going to lose that one. And I'm not cheering for it.
He's a hit away from being out for 5 weeks.
Yeah,
it's
unreal. All right, well, let's move on to the next game. We got the Texans versus the Jaguars. The Jaguars are laying 8.5. The total is 44.5. Now, I mean, the only thing I'm going to say about this is the Jaguars looked like crap last week, and the Texans always look like crap. The Texans are in massive injury mode, and there's just too many questionable guys right now on the roster here. Now, if the Texans had a full team against the Jaguars, I think this would be a little too high, but at the same time, I mean, if I had to bet today, I would take the Jaguars to cover. I wouldn't love it, but that's where I'm at,
I agree. I mean, this was a 7 on the opener, 7.5, I think. And then Texans play, they lose a bunch of guys, it jumps up. You're thinking over, right? Houston scores some garbage, even last year with Mills quarterbacking. They're good for 17 points in the third or fourth quarter to punch games over the total. So why not take the over here and play it safe? I do agree with the Jags. Although this is a game I do not have anything on. One of the few I don't have anything on in the game. But I would lean on Jags.
Yeah. Yeah, and Stroud's even a little bit banged up too. His shoulder's messed up. So
I wanted Mills or Keenum to run this show here.
Yeah, I agree. I think they should have ran the show from the get-go.
You got a decent running back. You got some guys. It would be. I think they'd be a little more successful. I think, but
I totally agree. And you might
if you're gonna throw out him, like you got Stroud, Young, Richardson, you're gonna play these guys. You can't take them out. Put them in there, and if you're 0-15, you're 0-15 or whatever. You cannot take them out because that just will hurt their feelings. You can't do that. Like you're either with me or you're not. Take the growing pains.
That's why I always hate to start them from the get-go, my man. It's just not the right move to do that. You put them in later because now you can't use the excuse, the media pressure, the kids' feelings, everything you just said. Now they decided to bite the bullet and start them. That's their own problem. And guess who's also in the same thing? Bryce Young. And Bryce Young, if he's not really hurt and they're just playing someone else at some point, then he's going to know it. He'll know it. So, that does hurt. Another terrible game, Colts versus Ravens. Ravens -8. Total 44. Now the Ravens, they're banged up and everything, but they're signing running backs left and right. And, they got it right against the Bengals, but it kind of puts them in a spot where like they just beat the Bengals. How much do they going to really put forth effort here? I believe they're 2-0, right? The Ravens are 2-0. Yeah, they're 2-0. They play the Texans and the Bengals. So it's just a spot where, I can see Gardner Minshew being the better choice. He's probably going to play this game. And, if Gardner Minshew's playing this game, I can see him covering it, and if it's
agree.
There you go.
I agree.
There you go.
I didn't play this. I had the Colts in week 1. I'm thinking I had Minshew and Taylor. I'm pulling out an outright win over the Jaguars. And then all of a sudden I get no Taylor. I get a rookie quarterback. I'm like, what the heck happened here? But I'll take the veteran here. Baltimore has the Steelers on deck too, so there's that. And I saw Kyle. Kyle posted. Yeah, I know. Seriously, right, Jesse? Like something happens, it's like, oh my goodness, it's my fault.
It'll be your fault for sure. Jesse will be your accomplice, though. Right?
I saw Kyle post out the old. Is there trap games or trap lines or stuff like that? And I mean, that's such a weird, like, because everybody comes in like, no, there's no. It's not that it's a trap. It's just one of those lines. There's no word for it, Kiev. Like, it's just a spot in the schedule where you're like, you know what? I just don't like it for whatever reason. They have so and so on deck. It's a sandwich game against two division teams. You got a Colts team nobody's really high on. You got now their backups in. How do you not play the Colts? Everything screams take Baltimore. They should roll these guys, right? Oh, it's the Colts. I'll take the Colts.
Yeah, I know. Lines smell. There's smelly lines, and they don't agree with numbers a lot. And people call them trap lines, but there's reason why that's lower. And just like you said, sandwich, letdown, distraction game. Distractions. There's just
there's no good term for that because it's like, oh, there's no such thing as and of course, like I think Jeff Betts came in like, there's no such thing, or somebody came in was like, they're not trap. I don't know what the word is, but there's got to be something in there that makes people like a dog in a spot, right? I mean, It's always the dog. No one's ever said it's a trap line with a favorite. It's always like you got to take the dog here. That line it's too low or whatever. It's too. I don't know. It just looks
too fugazi.
Right? It's fugazi lines.
Well, it's almost like it's not like the books are gambling against everybody. They're trying to balance action, and that's why, like, I see bookmakers say, "What are you talking about, trap line? If I move this up to where you think it should be, it's going to get pounded." Yeah. It's like there's reasons why it's there. It's a home game. It's a night game for this team or something, or it's a massive, they played each other last year. They got embarrassed, yet they have recruits. Like I'm thinking Kansas State, Missouri. I was on the wrong side of that one last week, but it's just like that line didn't match up with anybody's numbers, and Missouri ended up winning it with a 61-yard field goal.
I was on K-State too.
Yeah. Oh God. All right.
61-yarder. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, ESPN said he missed it. ESPN had up overtime because I just had the scoreboard up because I was doing stuff. And I'm like, all right, at least I got a shot in overtime here. And then all of a sudden, I get a text, man, I can't believe the guy hit a 61-yarder. I'm like, tell me you missed it.
Freaking liars. Jesus. Let's move on to the Chargers Vikings. Now, if you want to talk about a volatile game, this is it.
There we go.
I mean, a lot of people are saying this under is too low. But man, whenever I hear that, I see a bunch of running in the first quarter and freaking mistakes, and then you're at 9-6 by the time halftime happens. Man, I've seen that way too many times. Not going to get on a trendy overplay. I will say that I considered the Vikings a little bit, and a Vikings fan almost slapped me after I said that to him. I was asking him, that's a good better too, but he's like, tease any side, and to be honest with you, high total tease. I mean, I understand it, but I lean the Vikings because I think that you can see the organization's trying to win. They got Akers coming now, and as bad as Vikings coach is, seriously, Staley, he's worse probably. Exactly. He's going to screw it up some way, and I just don't see metrically when I look at it, there's no way that these teams should stop each other. I believe that Eckler will play for the Chargers, and they're just going to keep up in most cases. It's just going to come up to the last possession. I think Chargers first half, Vikings to win the game. You can get some of those props sometimes.
Yeah.
That's an interesting look. If you want to have some fun with it, that's all I have on that one, man. I'm not playing the Vikings, but I would lean to them slightly.
I played mini at a -105, and
that's a good price.
This team last year, right? We've talked about ad nauseum. They got every break in the book last year, and they start this year 0-2 because they didn't get one break. They won against them. But you're home against a team that's as miserable as you. All kind of like it's like Groundhog Day where Bill Murray's walking off the sidewalk. It steps into the giant pothole up to his knee in like icy, slushy water. Here come the Chargers. That's just what Minnesota needs. A team that's just as pathetic and can't do anything right. It's like a Three Stooges skit here. But give me Minnesota at all.
Can't wait for the Three Stooges skit, my man. That's hopefully my fantasy team will benefit from this. Is all I got to say.
Now you know that game. You know this game's going to be 23-16 now. There you go.
Yeah. It'll be our fault once again. There you go. Patriots versus Jets, and the Jets are 2.5-point dogs. The total on this is a wonderful 36.5. Talk about going from the Vikings Chargers to the Patriots Jets. It's just hilarious. Almost a 20-point difference in the total. Seriously. Here. So I'll let you go first on this one. And I got a weird way of playing it, but it's not weird, actually. It's a smart way of playing it, I think, but we'll see what you said.
Well, I got New England on a -1.5 and actually a -130 early. And for me, it's as bad as the Jets have been. You lost your quarterback, you rallied for a win. Then you go play a Dallas defense that gets turnovers versus everybody. How's your guy? I don't care if Aaron Rodgers is in there. You got to go there and you're down, you're throwing. Maybe he throws 2 interceptions too. So you can't. I'm not really mad at Wilson. What the Patriots at least have a quarterback who's not. He hasn't been successful, but he's won some games in this league. He finally has an offensive coordinator, so he kind of knows what he's doing. You could argue that in week 1 they could have beat the Eagles, and last week it was a tight kind of tough game. So as good as the Jets defense is, I got a decent Patriot defense. I got a little better offense, and I said this about the Jets game last week. I said if this game's close or they're down a little bit, and all of a sudden there's a turnover, things go bad, and it was actually the running back Cook I think fumbled to kind of change the momentum in that game. The defense, if Wilson comes out and throws a pick as opposed to a fumble this game, and it's 14-0 or 13-0 or 10-0, the defense is going to be like, they don't like this kid. So I could see them kind of throwing in the towel anyway. As crazy as that sounds, they've come out on social media and bashed their quarterback. So happy that he's not a quarterback anymore. They have, right? I mean, and what did he do? He went through 3 interceptions late in the game. It didn't make a difference. He's throwing it because they're down. I mean, how about the defense? Could I mean, it is what it is. I don't think they like him. I think this could spiral really out of control for them. Give me the Patriots. I got a head coach who's, let's be honest, it's probably his last swing. So I'll take the Pats here. And I believe it or not, I kind of like the over, although that was before I knew like a hurricane was coming to town or some kind of storm. But give me the Patriots. Better team.
The Patriots, chance of rain showers, 62%, 60-mile-per-hour winds. Yeah, I'll not take the over. I will tease the Jets, and this is going to be a part of another good teaser. The reason I like teasing the Jets here is because first of all, you got the low total. They're at home. Yeah. I don't expect them to win. I expect them to kind of keep it close, and this could be a literally 13-9, 13-10 type game, and
tease it up to 8 or 10 points. Yeah,
8.5 is what I'm teasing them with, and I teased them with Baltimore, and that's going to be the refuse to lose teaser I'm giving out today. I teased them with Baltimore, and I'm a little worried about Minshew. I was kind of hoping Richardson was going to come back, but I still think Baltimore does get it done at home here, and the Colts have a lot of new players themselves. Minshew's magical, but he's more magical at home. I think he's a little bit less on the road, and you can see Baltimore's a little bit motivated. Still, I mentioned letdown spots, but I always say it's a little early when you're talking week 2, week 3 letdowns. I say it's not. We're not there yet, and so I'll tease them with that. But there's other teaser legs you can throw them with Pittsburgh. You can throw them with a couple of teams that are sitting around at the 8 as well. So that's what I'm liking here. Let's move on to the next game. And going back to my Betfred odds screen, we have the New Orleans Saints at the Green Bay Packers. And God, Betfred's only at -1 here, -115. The money line's at -125. And I made a play on this, and I'm pretty sure you're with me. I took the Packers. I took them actually on the money line at -125 here. It was probably my largest play of the week here. I even made it a pretty big play. At least 3 stars I made it. I can't remember. I'll pull it up later. But I thought that Falcons game was a little fugazi, if you want to say that word, because they didn't have Aaron Jones. And Aaron Jones, guess what? He practiced today, baby. I knew he was coming back. And guess who also practiced? Christian Watson, their best receiver. You understand, this Packers team was competitive, whipping the Bears with a hurt Aaron Jones halfway through that game. and they could have won it against the Falcons at any point there. They had a tough time stopping the run. That's about it. And some of those Arthur Smith plays and a lot of momentum. But now the Packers are at home here, sitting at 1-1, a game they should have lost. The Saints here, they haven't played anybody. They haven't looked that impressive to me. I thought they should have lost the Titans personally, and I do not like Dennis Allen. I think Matt LaFleur, just like we talk about, is kind of flying under the radar with some very good players. Yeah. Love can just be a manager. He doesn't have to do anything special in this game. They're going to beat these Saints. Also, if you're worried about the Packers' run defense, it was the only thing I ever worry about. They Saints still don't have Kamara. Jamal Williams is banged up. I got to check the injury report today. I usually check it every single day, but I didn't pull that team up yet. Jamal Williams, running back, questionable hamstring, didn't take part on Wednesday's walkthrough practice, so losing him is a little bit. Taysom Hill, limited participant in practice himself, which is the gadgety guy. Yeah, I don't see him winning this game at all. By the way, short week, baby. Take the Packers for 3 stars.
Yeah, short week, and I gave you how much I like Green Bay anyway, so I'm with you. I'm not gonna go any more deep into that. It's give it a pack. I gotta say, I'm impressed that you have all these tabs open with StreamYard, because I put like Twitter behind me and I get like freezes on my StreamYard. I can't even do it.
Well, this is just one of my screen. My other screen has just as many tabs over with the StreamYard on. So I got a powerful computer, baby. That's what helps.
I got a simple one, because I was like, you know what? I don't need something really fancy. I just need because normally I'm not using 2 videos at once. So
look at Jesse over here. I'm talking about Colorado. All the Colorado Bears must be broke. Oregon bet up to -21. Yeah, I don't know. I think the people that brought that up were the ones that lost money on Colorado, and they're probably going to lose more money this week.
I hate the fact, and I get into it, people in the chat, like they're like, you think because you're taking points, like you hate Deion, has nothing to do with Deion Sanders, bro. It's the number.
Yeah, it's the
number. It's nothing personal against Deion Sanders. I'm happy he's there, because I don't have to hear about Alabama or Ohio State or Penn State or Georgia or USC. I get to hear, but holy cow, come on. They were projected to win 5 games. He shipped out half the team. They went to 3 wins on the season win total. 3.5 wins. Come on, folks. It's a point spread. It's a point spread. It's not like I'm hoping for the guy's family to be kicked out of their house or something. I'm taking the points.
It's way too many points, my friend. Let's go.
I said today, I think between Oregon and USC, the next 2 weeks, they're going to lose by like 100 points combined, I think.
That would be interesting.
Really? I mean, you'd be shocked if Oregon puts up 50. And short of a blizzard, what's USC going to drop on this team in Colorado by themselves? 56, 63?
That's possible, but my number with the Hunter injury, my number is 17. So it went past, and I'm sorry, I did.
This was 28 in August. This line was 28.
Right. It was 28, then it was 14, and now it's 21. I mean, it's all over the freaking place.
That's fine. Listen, I have it on Winner Free Picks. I got it at a 14, actually a 15.5. So I got it. You can't even put those games out on sites when you get lines like that. But early numbers, you can't leave that at 15. I mean, I hate saying sharp or smart guys. That's an easy play. That's a no-brainer. I mean, 20, even 21. They give up 7 yards of rush versus TCU. I mean, you barely won that game with 2 interceptions in the end zone. 400 yards to Colorado State, how'd they look against Washington State, who's maybe the 5th best team in the Pac-12?
Yeah. First of all, it was a weird rivalry type game, and I thought Colorado State did play out of their minds. Don't get me wrong. I think that Coach Prime, if he's not scoring, they're going to lose games. But Shedeur Sanders really showed some maturity to me, the way he handles his stuff. And the fact that, he looks smart. He looks poised. He doesn't celebrate. I like the way he does things. So I'm telling you this, I'm not rushing to bet anything in this game, but I'll tell you this, it comes that time, that game time, I think it's 12:30 game, winning my 9 o'clock games. We'll see what happens, my friend. We'll see what happens. Let's get back to the NFL. And thanks a lot, Jesse. Come on. We have the Titans versus the Brownies. The Brownies -3.5 plus 100. The total is 39.5. And I'll show my hand. I took the Titans at 3.5. I just thought that line was a little out of whack. And now the Browns signed Kareem Hunt, and that somehow moves it from 3 to 4. Ford's better than Kareem Hunt, man. I don't know what that should move the line back for. Here's my opinion on the Titans, Sean. unless they're playing the top 3 teams, the Niners, the maybe the Cowboys, probably. Let's just say Cowboys, Niners, Cowboys, Chiefs, or Eagles. Let's just be nice and make it 4. They should be -3 or +3 in every freaking game.
Yes.
Yeah, they should never be over 3 unless it's 4 games. I took 3.5 here. I can just easily see Tannehill backdooring this thing.
I do like look at lines on Sunday nights at halftime, and it was 4.5. I'm like, I said, I want to take probably Tennessee here. Went down to 4. I took it at 4, and I was annoyed. And then, of course, I had the injury. This team, just like you said, they're in every single game. I don't care how ugly it is, and nobody likes Tannehill or Hopkins or Henry. That's like the over the hill gang, like an old Redskin team or something.
Right.
But they play defense, and the guy he's a gamer back there. And plus, again, I had this on Monday before the game. You're playing Pittsburgh, a short week. You play how physical is it? The dude broke his leg. They broke the guy's leg. That's how physical it is. You know what I mean? Like, and then you had the Ravens on deck, and now you got Tennessee in between, a team that plays like they're an AFC North team that's just going to hammer you into the ground. And Watson, he's still trying to find himself back there a little bit. But I mean, he's still kind of fresh. He's got a couple games under his belt last year. This year he played in a monsoon, and then he played against the Steeler defense. Yeah, good luck with that. I mean, and here comes Tennessee to smack him around. Get any points you can here. Take the points, probably an under as well. What's the total on this one?
The total, let me go back to the screen, is 42.
42?
Oh, no, wait, no, sorry, 39.5. 39.5.
42. I was like, I'm going to jump on that.
Yeah, right. I would have. Yeah, for sure, under. Carolina, the next game, Carolina Seahawks, is 42, and the total, and the number is 6.5, minus 6.5 on the Seahawks. I'm gonna let you go first. I'm thinking you're thinking a lot of the same stuff I am, though. So
all right, so this is all right. So I got Seattle at a 3 actually, and a 4.5. I got this. So obviously, who's Young's out? I guess. What's going on? Why is this line move 2 points, 3 points?
Yeah, I got 4.5 too.
All right, so interesting there. And we said this about Atlanta. I'm taking a team, short week, cross-country flight, rookie quarterback on the road versus, Pete Carroll's done a pretty good job up there. Russell Wilson, even without him. I mean, we saw Geno take this team to playoff last year. What's there to say? I got a good spot here.
Here's the problem, though. Young's not going to play probably now.
That's what it is. But who are they ruling in here? I'm not.
Andy Dalton, baby.
The Red Rocket. Am I really so? You know what? Dalton in, huh? I mean, again, would I play this at a 6.5? Probably not. I'm happy with my number. That's for sure. I don't like you bring in a backup quarterback. It changes the whole entire aspect of things, especially with a veteran kind of guy. Because he can make a play and pull a rabbit out of a hat. And yeah, that's
as bad as Andy Dalton is. He's better than Bryce Young is right now.
Yeah.
And that's what makes me like, why did this go from 5.5 to 6.5 on this announcement today? Yeah. I'm like, what the hell? Because I got the 4.5, and I like the 4.5 a lot better with Young, but I still like the 4.5 with Dalton. But I do not like 6.5 with Dalton.
Exactly.
6.5 with Young, I probably would have liked. But Dalton knows how to play quarterback.
Yes.
And he's been in this situation. He's playing with house money right now. What do you think he's afraid about being cut? I mean, the dude's been in the NFL for 15 years. He's going to be richer than 99.99% of our listeners out there, my friend. He has nothing to worry about. The dude's set for life. He's probably going to have a job on NBC after this, right? The injury report here has got Brian Burns here, a limited participant, but Shaq Thompson is now on IR. So that was like their best linebackers right there. And you get Justin Houston now, who's older than dirt. He participated in a limited capacity, but Miles Sanders questionable a little bit on the offense, and don't forget about the injuries they sustained a little bit also, like J.C. Horn, and that was a bad one here. They're their best corner.
Back,
yeah. So they're just it's a dangerous, ugly game, and all it would take is just Andy Dalton to have a pretty good game and Seattle to kind of let down a little bit and be like, okay, we're back at home. For some reason, we suck at home. They've been sucking at home the last few years, Seattle. I don't know why. They've just been a weird team that just doesn't do it at home. So it's 6.5, no.
The line is gone. Move on. You don't have to take it, folks. You don't have to take the game.
Don't got to take it. All right, let's move on to the next one here. We have the Chicago Bears versus the Chiefs, and I'm a sad Bear fan, my friend, because this organization. But I've been saying this shit for 30 years. McCaskey's like the town fool of Chicago. He has no idea what he's doing. If the dude wasn't born into money, he'd be a pauper. And he, whatever decision he makes, the search firm he hires is a terrible search firm to make the hires. You know, he's at the top making some decision that even though you can't track him to Ryan Pace or Ryan Poles or Eberflus or any of them, he was still the guy that hired him.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like this organization is never going to get better because look at it. I mean, you have a defensive coordinator that just doesn't show up last week, and you've seen how bad this defense is, and you're like, how was this not seen in the preseason? You have these offensive line problems in the preseason, and they're just kind of going to the season like with a blindfold on. And Justin Fields has his issues, and he can't check down. He doesn't have that 1 second adjustment to like know where the receiver is going to be because the NFL way different than his Ohio State team. You know, NFL. As the guy's cutting, you throw it, 5-6 yards and a quick down and out. He doesn't see that. He can't do that for some reason. He doesn't process like this guy doesn't look open, but he's about to be open in 1 second just due to his cut and the other guy's not, so he can't do that. And it's on film that he can't do that. Will he ever do that? I was hoping so, but after 27 starts, the verdict's not looking good, but at the same time, he's blaming his coaches and his coach is looking competent too, because everything from upstairs. But now this is an absolute dumpster fire again of a situation. And I wanted to bet the Bears this week because I thought Justin Fields could run all over this team and just shock everybody because that's what he does. And maybe he's going to do that. But I can't bet the Chiefs here. I'm low on the Chiefs. And as bad as the Bears are, you can have Justin Fields just have that one of those weird games where all of a sudden people are like, oh my God, my survivor's about to take a crap on the Bears like they did it with the Patriots last year. So it's an ugly ass game. A lot of variance. I'm staying away, my friend.
He's lost 12 in a row now?
Yeah, 12 in a row.
You can't take the Bears. But again, whatever's going on off the field with whatever, maybe we're going to find out what kind of heart this group has. Like, it's been a bad run. Like, I'm with you. I'm not a Bears fan. But the hype on this crew coming into the season, what are we doing? Like, I was like, give me Green Bay money line here, well, folks. What do you just a field that lost 10 in a row or 9 in a row, and he was a favorite. And he's a favorite over Tampa. They opened as a favorite in Tampa Bay. Kansas City hasn't really done much. Are you going to be shocked if Kansas City just actually comes in here and like whips these guys like 38-10?
I wouldn't shock me if it was 40-0.
Right.
It wouldn't shock me. It also wouldn't shock me if Fields runs for 250 yards somehow. Screw you, everybody else. And all of a sudden, the Bears' special teams fumble or something. It's just a highly variant game.
I have nothing on this game.
Good. I won't either. And I'm just hoping for the Bears win just to crush some survivors out there that I'm competing against.
That'll be Bears win. Holy cow.
That would be something. Cowboys, Cardinals. Cardinals plus 13, total 43. What do you have for this game?
I got Dallas. And I know the line's gone up. It opened at 10.5. I still like it. And I know they have the Patriots on deck, and it's scary with Dallas because we haven't really seen their offense. They got a new coordinator. What are they going to do? The defense, we know the defense is going to be good. That was coming in. You knew the defense was going to carry this team.
Yep. And
Arizona, what is this squad? Like they scored 16 points versus Washington, and then last week they had a great first half, and then did they really just quit the second half and say, oh wait, we're supposed to lose games because we need to draft a quarterback?
They got scared the second half. They got scared of winning.
What was it's just Dallas or nothing for me here. And I can't even even take an under here because of Craig. What do you say, fella? Thank you. We're trying to find some way.
Craig chiming in. Sean, let's roll, baby.
I got Dallas sidewise or total wise. Again, it could be like the Jet game. Dallas could put up 30-something points here, and this gets over the total.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, one team could go. So I really was leaning hard on Dallas. I couldn't get there because
it's double digit on the road. I get it, Kiev. It's tough.
Yeah.
I don't like doing stuff like that. But
I mean, if Dallas was 1-1, I mean, if I hadn't happy with 2-0, it was almost too easy for him. In these two situations here, the Giants look like crap. The offense didn't even have to play, and the offense just kicked a bunch of field goals. I'm glad I live bet Dallas last week and amassed 10.5. And this is another live bet where you can probably do that too. But Dallas fat and happy going on the road, and Cardinals just blew it. Which Cardinals you can get? The one that thought that they could win this game? I don't know.
It's weird, but also again with Dallas is what have we seen? I want to see a good offense of performance. I mean, you get turnovers, it kind of changes the way they're done. Like I want to see Dak and the offense perform without getting 4 turnovers a game. I want to see them put up 28 points by themselves without all the help.
Wow,
Because you're going to have to do something eventually.
Jesse Diggs just came out. Diggs injured in practice, and I just looked, tore his ACL, baby. This has happened while we're doing this, or did I miss it from like an hour ago? Wow. That's not good. He's their best corner. Not that it's going to matter against this team, but this is definitely something to note for the future. Trayvon Diggs, that's a nasty loss. That's terrible. I feel bad for Dallas there. Shouldn't move the line in this game though.
That's a year-long thing. That'll catch up with them.
Yeah. That's tough. Yeah. Thanks for breaking the news to us, Jesse. That's shitty. So what can you do? Dallas has some guys there, and they might sign somebody as well. But I mean,
but still, that guy was kind of excited. I mean, he gets a lot of pub because he gets a lot of picks. He kind of jumps the ball, but I mean, I think as he's rated, he's not like a top kind of tier guy. He gets the turnovers because he takes chances.
Well, he gets burned because of them too, because they'll just throw over the top of him. So
he's good and bad out there. It's good, but never want to lose a starter. But.
Yeah, I want that good though in a big game. It's just bad news. Oh well, I mean, this is the NFL. We have to expect that, but it's not going to affect this game as we move on here. Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Raiders, and the Raiders are -2.5. -120 here. The total's at 43. Oh, man, I don't understand why the Raiders are favored here at -2.5.
I don't get it.
It's a pick. I mean, you ever understand Pittsburgh had played against 2 great defenses, and they played. They didn't look great on offense or anything, but Matt Canada's kind of just getting his feet wet here with this team. You still have guys like Najee Harris and Pickens, and I know they lost Deontay Johnson, but it's not like they're depraved of wide receivers here. I would pull up their depth chart here for the people to see. Pittsburgh still has a lot of talent on this team. Allen Robinson used to be a good player. Calvin Austin steps in, obviously, because of the Deontay Johnson injury, but there's a few guys. Miles Boykin has made a few plays in the past, and they're not that much of a passing team anyway. You still have Pat Freiermuth at the and Darnell Washington at tight ends, so you can run 2 tight end sets. And Najee Harris and Jalen Warren should be able to take care of business here, in my opinion, against this team. Looking at the Raiders, they never really had that great of a rush defense, and they're number 31 right now in rush defense, my friend. So you have to assume that Najee Harris is going to control the clock and finally get some yards, and they finally get to feast against this bad D. I am so close to making a Steelers play. I think it's an amazing teaser leg. Where are you at?
Yeah, I didn't play this game, and my initial thoughts like it's Pittsburgh, but like why again +2.5? Is it because of how ugly and getting a couple defensive scores to get a win last week, and the Raiders getting blown out? I thought the Raiders were an under-win team for the season. So to see them favored here, I had this as a loss anyway.
Right.
That's a weird one. And one, I don't like laying 2.5s at home anyway. Like if you're not good enough to give 3, I don't want any part of you. I'm a Garoppolo guy. I do like Garoppolo, but I don't know.
I like Garoppolo as a dog. I don't like him as a favorite. That's just kind of always thought of him. I know he's good as a dog. I think he's like 54%, 55%.
Yeah, but I mean, come on. He was playing Niners as a dog. Yeah, why not take the Niners as a dog? He's on a 49.
And the Patriots, right? So that's true.
The team's 13-4 every year. Look, they're a dog. All right, I'll take them.
Great point, Sean. Let's move on to the Monday night games. Eagles at Tampa. Tampa +5, total 46. I'm guessing you're going with Tampa from some of the things you said.
I got a Tampa +7 in my pocket already from this line.
Really? I forget about that.
What have we seen? Again, Tampa, I have a 10-1 South ticket on Tampa Bay. The defense is solid. It's a decent unit. It's not terrible. The hate for Baker, he's still got guys around him to make plays, folks. What are we doing here? 2-0. And Philly, you lose your coordinators, and I still thought Philly was probably the best team in the NFC coming into to September. I'm like, you know what? Coming into the season, I'm like, Purdy hasn't thrown. What's he going to be? I don't know if he's going to be 100%. And as a Cowboy fan, I'll just expect whatever I get, I'll be happy with. So far, so good. But I figured Philly, a lot of talent. You lose your coordinators. I mean, it shows. You got a couple injuries, a couple guys leave. You barely hung on. I thought I had Philly's opening day at 4.5, and I'm like, oh, look at this. The route is on. It was like 14-0 early or whatever. I'm like, this is a blowout. Patriots are going to fold up shop. It's going to be 40-24. No. They struggled there. They struggled against Minnesota. I mean, Hurts had 2 big plays. Granted, 2 big plays. That's all it takes sometimes to get. I mean, Steelers won off of a big play, turnovers. I'm not sold on the Eagles right now. And especially not going on the road as a 6.5, 7-point favorite. Now it's what, 5 now? 4.5, 5? I'd still take
5.
Tampa Bay here. I'd still take Tampa Bay.
All right, I'll take the Eagles, but I'm not betting them yet. I took them in the money line parlay with Seattle when Seattle's number was way better, so I got plus money on that parlay. I think that here's my issues. I don't know if James Bradbury or Reed Blankenship is going to play. They're still questionable, and I'm worried about that. But this is a situation where the Eagles know they look bad. They have extra rest in this situation. The coach said all the right things. He said, we're lucky to be 2-0, and we're probably in a good position to fix our stuff because it's a lot harder to, go to practice and think about it when you're 0-2. They still have some great talent. I'm hoping Gainwell plays because I think he's better than Swift. But there is definitely problems with this team, and you had AJ Brown complaining he's not getting the targets. Devontae Smith got some of his targets and stuff like that. Quez Watkins is a little bit banged up. But I almost feel like Tampa's win against the Bears was a little fraudulent. They're only up 3. The Bears got the ball back. Of course, it was only their 3-5 yard line or something, 3 or 5. And then that pick 6 happened. Yep. So the score wasn't complete, a depiction of that. But, Baker Mayfield, I like betting against teams that had easy wins against terrible teams. So that's just my angle. I didn't get to the window on it, and I don't even think my number matches up yet. I think I'm at 6.5, though. It's not like way off.
That makes sense. I mean, like Tampa, they were lucky to win it against Minnesota. They were outplayed in that game. But turnovers, you're going to make turnovers. You're going to be in games.
For sure. Yeah, I think Philly is a fade team in general this year. It's just that this week with Tampa 2-0, it's got the same feel as that Washington game too, coming up this week almost. It's a little same feel, except obviously Washington's the dog, which you'd rather have points than give them. But Washington's 2-0 too. No, it's going to be really interesting. I'm excited for the game. We're going to learn a little bit more about both these teams.
Yeah.
But I'll lean to the Eagles. But we have one final game. We're already past an hour, obviously, and we're going to move on to the Rams versus the Bengals. But this is hard to talk about because you're at like 44 of a total. You're now at Bengals about flat -3 here. And this is just all if Joe Burrow plays or not. Now, Sean, when this went down to 1.5 and no conversation, it went down from 6 to 1.5.
7. I got 7.5.
Okay. 7.5 to 1.5. A 6-point move on a question. What does that mean? It moves 6 points when he's out? I mean, there's no player with 12 points. What the heck are you talking about here? I took the Bengals at -1.5, but I took it knowing that I'm going to have options. Now, Burrow plays. This thing goes back to 4.5. They're going to say he's still kind of banged up. He's injured. I can easily take 2 sides on this and then just whatever. I don't care. 3 happens, that'd be great. 4 happens, that'd be great. I'll probably do something like that. Maybe even a little bit for less. I don't know. It's just I like the Bengals game 3. They always lose their first 2 games. They seem to figure it out. The Rams, man, they getting a lot of weird pub for that field goal. But what else was he supposed to do at that point is what I'm saying. He's supposed to freaking injure your guys running it or show your team you wanted to get defeated by
exactly.
I don't know.
The whole Bad Beat refund crew's out. The fixed its rig crew comes out. All the people who just found gambling the last 18 months come out of woodwork. Never don't realize that a coach is going to put points on the board because the team they're playing has destroyed them for the last couple of years. So he just wants to get anything on the board to be like, screw you, San Fran fans. Really. I mean, let's be honest. They have mauled him.
Yeah. Yeah, they have. They've always done that, and it's just like you want to show your team. Even a field goal gives them a little momentum. Like, okay, we got some points. You run into the next week. It's like taking a knee does not do that, and it doesn't help anybody. It shows you're just accepting defeat.
Yeah.
So I got into plenty of Twitter fights over this. They're like, oh, it shouldn't have happened. Well, he screwed up by not doing it with 20 seconds left. We know that.
Yes.
But at that point of 3 seconds left, why would you take a knee? Why give your field goal kicker some practice? It makes no sense why you wouldn't do that. And if you want to talk about the bad beat, it's more than when Matt Stafford was down by 7 driving the ball, and then he throws the pick and they go up by another 3. That was more of a worse part of the game for Rams bettors, so people forgot about that. But we're talking about this game. Yes, the Bengals look like absolute crap, but the Rams looked very good in the first half of that Steelers game or that Niners game, and they looked really good against the Seahawks, which was actually a revenge game from last year, in my opinion. I thought that the refs got the best of them last year, but I think the Rams come down to earth a little bit, traveling all the way to Cincinnati, West Coast to East Coast, but it is a late game, so it doesn't affect it as much.
The line tells you he's out, right?
I guess. Yeah,
I would. Let me tell you something. If I'm Burrow, do you really want to come in here and play? If he's still, he's getting like treatment on the sideline during the game. You're going to play today and then come back and play next week on a short week versus like Baltimore or whoever they play next week. I don't know. I don't know who they play next week.
I don't know. It's almost like you should, if you're going to sit this game, sit 4.
They got the Titans. They're at the Titans next week. Like,
okay. Well, here's the thing.
He's banged up, questionable
they're
on a short week. What are you doing here? Ruin your whole season?
It's a long week. They get 8 games. They're 8 days. But it would be a short week the next week is what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
So well, here's the thing. What's his mindset? They're 0-2. Can they afford to lose another one? I don't know if Woodrow can do anything, but the truth is it'd be more of a wild card if Woodrow did play or whatever the backup's name is. Like space his name. Jesse says he wants to bet the Rams, so he hopes Burrow does play. Randy Pass comes in and says Burrow jumping around is a loser. I don't.
Isn't Browning the backup here? Is it? I don't even know. Yeah, Jake Browning.
Yeah, it's Jake. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. You know what's funny? Randy brings up Super Bowl loser about the Eagles having a bad year is true, and that is a bad year. But this is also another Super Bowl loser that played the Rams and lost the Super Bowl about 2 years ago. So if you want to add another angle to this game, we have that one, baby. There's so much to this. I'm happy with my 1.5, and let's just say Burrow's out. I can tease my way out of it to the Thursday game or the next game. So I might do that too. Let's just say, Burrow's out, and I can figure out ways to figure it out if I need to. I think Burrow plays personally, and I don't know if it's a good idea though, Sean. Like you said, maybe it's not a good idea, but I think he does play.
And like as I'm a guy who looks at like the next week, so they're a 1.5 point fave at Tennessee, and I'm thinking if he's playing, that line should probably be like probably up at 3. It won't be 1.5 against Tennessee. It'll definitely go up. Like if you think Burrow's okay and just gonna be banged up and play hurt, take the short number. You're gonna get the good number right now, 1.5, as opposed to when it goes up and after Monday night. Say they come in and have a big win.
Well, you know what wasn't hurt was Sean Higgs's record from last year in the NFL on the top of all of these leaderboards, Sean, and that was absolutely fantastic, my man. We are done with this slate of games, but very proud of what you accomplished over there. And well, why don't you tell our listeners and viewers where they can get your great information?
Yeah, well, Twitter, Mr. Sean Higgs, give me a follow there. I do a live show 7 days a week, 12 noon Eastern time, midday money. And on Sunday nights, I do a show, Look Headlines, and I run down all the games. It's halftime, usually like a minute in. So if you go to Win Free Picks, there's, notification about whatever. And I go through all the games, and I basically say who I'm taking for the week, who I maybe already bet, because I don't wait till Sunday to bet games. So
there you go.
I sometimes you get a good number, sometimes it hurts you, but listen, it's a good show. People, especially comment wise, my shows are all comment driven. I do an hour, sometimes longer day by myself, and I'm just running through comments the whole time, all types of stuff. So,
all right, well,
find me there.
I'm everywhere. There. And you can follow him on Twitter. He's always retweeting that, Mr. Sean Higgs, at Mr. Sean Higgs. Make sure you check it out. Huge thanks to you, Sean. Huge thanks to everyone in the chat. Jesse, Craig, Randy, everyone that chimed in. Really appreciate it, Sean. Man, good luck this weekend, my friend. We will be texting. Really appreciate all you do.
Thanks, bud.